Hello everyone, and welcome to another incredible video on the Mangini the Amazing YouTube channel, during content week, which I haven't said in any of the other content week videos because I forgot to. And today we're going to, play Go Fish. And by we, I mean with my incredible co-host here, Cannor.
Hello, this is a VBL first, me being on a video.
Is it a first?
Yeah, this is the first VBL collab I've ever done.
Gosh, I have not. I needed to have kidnapped you earlier, clearly. Because I watch your content for UBL,
yeah, the playoff coverage that is very heavily taken from VBL. Yep. But to be fair, very interesting playoff coverage, so.
Yeah, it's pretty. The episodes aren't bad. Watch them when they pop up. Okay, so yes. So, Go Fish. And here we have a picture of Melodic, a random water type that I could find a picture of fainted on the internet, and Chiyu, the Pokemon that knocked it out with a resisted move. Today, we're going to discuss, well, impolitely, people may call matchup fishing, but hard commit compositions in draft. So, that's a special offense as enabled by Chiyu, physical offense as enabled by Chien-Pao, hard weather teams, and hard trick room are the main sorts of compositions that we are looking at, though there are some other examples. I think they're generally more niche.
Yeah. Some of those niche ones, they aren't Chiyu, I'll tell you that much.
You know what? Yeah, look, I love running like Perish Trap, for example. But Chiyu is mildly better at KOing Pokemon than Perish Song.
It's also way easier. You just click the button and win.
So today, we're going to look at... so you've drafted special offense, I think more than once.
Yeah, I have it in both leagues that are currently running. Special offense supported by a fast fairy type.
Gardevoir is not a fast fairy type.
No, I have Iron Valiant in the other one.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, no, it's not Gardevoir. Gardevoir's a bit too slow to be a fast fairy type.
Yeah. Okay, so Go Fish, and we're looking at how you kind of how you draft the team, how you build teams with it to take advantage of it and make it more consistent, and then how you build against it to try and cover all of our bases here. So, I think the main focus point for these hard commit teams is you have to recognize what you are hard committing around. In the case of physical or special offense, that is a very easy answer. It's Chiyu or it's Chien-Pao. There isn't really a lot of flexibility in terms of what you're doing. Do you think that's fair to say?
Yeah. Yeah, that's... Yeah, you basically have to plan around that one Mon. Mon is your team.
So you
and
need
the rest
to,
is just supporting.
You need to get stuff, or you can view this as, and I think it maybe more reasonable things the other way, where Chiyu and Chien-Pao are supporting every other Pokemon in their team in a way which other Pokemon do not have the ability to. Often through doing damage themselves, but Super Fang.
Right. And the fact that
Super Fang's a support move, right?
Yeah.
So is Heat Wave into a water type. It's the same difference, right? If it does 50,
water type and it burns.
I mean, if it does 50, right? It's the same as clicking Super Fang.
True.
Yeah.
Every move can be a support move if it does enough chip to guarantee you a KO.
Every move that doesn't get a KO is a support move.
Yep.
Unless you lose.
That's very true.
In which case it was just kind of left out. So yes, Chiyu, funny Pokemon. Chien-Pao, funny Pokemon. They don't have a lot of flexibility. So then you have hard weather, and you need generally a Pokemon with that weather ability. I think most times you would not consider manual weather to be hard weather. Tornadus is a great weather setter, but probably not a Pokemon that I would conceive of as a hard weather soul fixture.
Right, yeah.
So
having the ability helps with hard weather so much.
For sure. And
it basically identifies it.
Do you think Sandspit can... Well, I mean, you can have Tyranitar on a team that isn't a hard Sand team, right? Or Pelipper.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But then it's a question of, like, are you building into that, right? So, Sand... Terrains were the other thing that kind of, like, last gen, you had Psychic Spam, which was, like, an actual team, and then, like, now one Pokemon is Expanding Force.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Tyranitar, Hippo, Sandaconda, Gigalith. I don't think Sandaconda is great for a hard commit team because Sandspit is inconsistent. But I think Tyranitar is probably like the main mon you want to go to there. Hippo is good, and you can sometimes run both Tyranitar and Hippo in a draft. But you do generally want to commit around Tyranitar and then build your team around how you can check its weaknesses, which are predominantly water, grass, and fighting. It is also technically weak to Fairy, Steel. One other typing was that I was thinking of, Bug. But they are less relevant because of its very high special defense and physical defense, generally.
Correct. And Archetypes and Archetypes.
Yeah. If it's Cleavable, you might be worried. If it's not, you're probably doing alright. And you're probably worried about CC anyways.
Oh, yeah. True.
I remember using, back during the Mega Evolution era, clicking Pursuit in front of a Mega Beedrill with Adaptability U-turn, because I knew it lived, and I lived and it died.
Yeah.
So yeah, with the weather setters, sometimes they are like a hard commit mon. I would say that is probably least true for snow, with the Bomber Snow and whatever. You generally don't mind having Pokemon that share weaknesses with the Bomber Snow, because the defense boost from snow is so impactful, and everything shares weaknesses with the Bomber Snow. It's an ice grass type.
Yeah. It's weak to,
it's like
billion things anyways.
Exactly.
So
what Pokemon are we running that's resist to, fire, ice, poison? Fire, flying, poison, bug. Actually, is it only those four? Rock as well. Heat Trap.
On snow, the answer is nothing.
The answer is Articuno. It's got Snow Cloak.
Just dodge it.
Exactly. That's what they do on ladder. So, So Tyranitar, Pelipper, and then Torkoal, and then you have Hard Trick Room. Hard Trick Room is more awkward because you have to get good Trick Room setters, and I have played against Hard Trick Room teams which are like, I have this perfect plan. I will run a Mental Herb. So I just click Taunt with both of my Pokemon into their Mental Herb Pokemon, and then they lose. So you need a Pokemon which is capable of dealing with a very, very wide range of a thing. And also, unlike a lot of these other things, except for Tyranitar, Hippo I think is the only exception, or Gig Hippo, you don't generally get access to multiple... You will normally have 2 or 3 good Trick Room setters on your team. But you still want to have a centerpiece, which is the main one doing it. Which, in my view, this format is Mimikyu or Cresselia. Obviously, if you can have both, that's amazing, but if you can't, that's fine. Mimikyu's good because it's immune to Fake Out, so that deals with one of the routes. So you can run Safety Goggles with it, or Mental Herb, and then Terra Grass or Terra Dark to switch the other way around. They're unlikely to fake you out, and then you can Terra Dark to deal with Prankster Taunt, or you can Terra Grass to deal with Spore, and then you can generally set up Trick Room pretty reliably because your partner Pokemon should hopefully be able to stop you getting doubled up into and KO'd. You have to deal with a lot of stuff with Trick Room because of its negative priority that you don't have to deal with Chi-Yu, because Chi-Yu just comes in on the field and does its thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Trick Room feels like, the biggest, if you want to restart Trick Room, it's the biggest commitment just because you have so many factors that don't really just get solved by clicking a button. Chi-Yu specifically, and then even Qianpao, where, instead of wasting that turn trying to get that Trick Room up to really get your game plan going, you can just click Overheat. And it's just better. In some cases.
It takes time. Obviously, Trick Room is like more of a win condition than switching Chi-Yu in. But it's also a passive move itself, which the other 3 are all enabled by switching something in. I'd probably
Right,
consider Trick Room
yeah.
to be more of a matchup fish, but I don't know. Last season, Ray's physical offense team felt very matchup fishy. The games that he lost, he often lost by a lot. But then the games he won, it like a lot of 2-0 games, win and lose.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I think Tyranitar is probably like Tyranitar is often priced for a hard sand team. Sand is awkward as well, particularly because of Chip. The fixed hail.
Yeah, sand is awkward because like your best abuser too right now is
Houndstone,
Lycanroc,
Lycanroc,
Houndstone.
Gastrodon with Sand Force.
Yeah,
Hippo with Sand Force.
yeah, that's very true. Yes. Yeah, sand really is just the
But Sand was
fortunate stepchild.
Sand was
of the
the
weathers
best
right
last
now.
gen, so I'm fine with it taking a brief break.
Oh yeah.
Like, or maybe
Yeah, it can-
like Venocall and Drilltar were both absurdly strong last gen.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm
I'm
fine with it
it.
taking a break.
We're allowed to not have Excadrill in the game, you know. So yes,
Yeah,
this is
yeah, for a little bit. I'm sure it'll be back eventually.
yeah. So a lot of the stuff you
Well,
want to generally
the-
consider with these sorts of things is how you can enable yourself to, one, obviously abuse the condition that you're setting, and then two, stop your opponent from disrupting you setting that condition. You know, a key Pokemon with something like Chien-Pao can be your own Wide Guard Pokemon, because you're weak to a lot of spread moves and only somewhat frail. I think Chien-Pao probably Chi-Yu probably dies to Rock Slide through Wide Guard, with its much lower HP and physical defense than Chien-Pao has.
Yeah, Chi-Yu probably does just die to Rock Slide.
Just through Wide Guard though, yeah. It's like, oh great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a physical attack? Oh no. Oh good heavens.
That's yeah. Yeah,
Whereas
it took 50% from a stream speed Lucario. Not Terra Normal either.
Not Terra Normal, no. No. Terra Normal, Helping Hand would KO.
Yeah. Yeah, that Chi-Yu would have been,
She was a weird one. I've seen it like invested physically defensive and then take nothing, but the Snarl sets are much bulkier. You don't have to commit just because you have one of these Pokemon. You can make it a mode, but often
Oh yeah.
teams do involve committing, and it is fun. It is really genuinely really fun to have like a hard weather team, until you just get people manually setting weather on you with Iron Bundle because it's still faster than your abusers because it's got booster energy. I hate it. I hate it so much. Booster energy, not fun. Dislike. But yes.
Yeah.
Offense
Yeah,
good.
I'm a big booster bundle hater.
I mean, bundle.
Also because it always misses Hydro Pump.
I just run Terrible Lost Water. You know, it's not that hard.
You know what? That's true. That's honestly probably better anyways.
I had a league where I ran Terrible Lost Water, and Hydro Pump. And I think I clicked Hydro Pump once that league and it missed. I must have clicked Terra Blast a lot of times and it did not miss. Yeah, so pivots are generally going to be a really good way to do it. Regenerator is okay, but Volt Switch is, I think, very, very good. We were discussing earlier, before the video started, about how Iron Hands is kind of that perfect mon, because it has Fake Out to enable your Pokemon to get that extra turn. It has Volt Switch to get that pivot, and then it's also got really good damage that enables it to remove threats to your overall composition. Use Dugtrio and Gothitelle. They're broken as well.
True. Yeah.
Companion piece, the video I made in with Bo. Not really, but you know, Doug as well. You know, yeah, just remove their Pokemon, and then they don't have Pokemon anymore, and then you do okay. I think like the general attack is draining moves, so like Draining Kiss, Drain Punch, but also like Giga Drain. I can't remember any of the like specific ones. Bitter Blade.
Yeah.
There's a special one, another special one that's like more specific. I don't know.
I know there's Leech Life, but that's physical.
Yeah, Leech Life and
Can't
Horn
think of
Leech
the
as
specific one.
well. So yeah, they're really good with the special and physical offense, and okay with weather as well, depending on the weather. Parabolic charge with electric terrain. You know, there we go. So yeah, so basically you want to kind of look at synergies which are enabled particularly well, which may struggle like by default, but are enabled by the extra condition that you do. So a lot of these like very fast offensive Pokemon, like Guts Abusers, are really good with Trick Room, for example, because you're already burning a turn setting Trick Room up, and that's often the turn you get your with your Flame Orb activated to get the Guts off. With Sand, you are often already getting you have Sand to break sashes, so then you can run a lot of moves which come with high risk in terms of dealing with sashes, and often I think Sub is like a really strong move on Sand. And then Rain loves spread moves because they boost damage. Heat Wave, like spread moves appreciate the boosted damage. And then what's the other thing? Multi-hit moves are good because they deal with sashes as well.
Yeah.
I think generally just field conditions appreciate having these sorts of things that deal with counterplay. So how do you build a team to actually get your field condition up? And here are some examples of what we have seen enable field conditions for all different of them. So Chiyu with an eject pack and overheat. So Chiyu, when it's in, boosts the power of your special move, and if you have Iron Valley next to it, that's a faster Pokemon. So it clicks a move, and then Chiyu clicks overheat, and then switches out, and you got the boost, and then your opponent didn't get the boost into your Pokemon. But also, if they have an Intimidate Pokemon like Arcanine that you're scared of, they switch Arcanine in, and then you switch out anyways into your Water type.
Yeah, it just allows, again, like you said, pivoting is really important for teams like this, where it's, especially where, special offense, your game plan is pretty, obvious.
Yeah, all the hard commits, your game plan's very obvious. Yeah.
Yeah, just take out the, key piece of that.
Yeah.
And eject pack being a way for you to pivot is very nice. It's very nice.
For sure. So Chien-Pao as well, Focus Sash with Protect. Just getting extra turns can be incredible in terms of finding your right position within that game. Being able to protect to preserve the field condition, like having a move that is both protect and functionally a helping hand if you would otherwise be switching it out, is kind of crazy.
Right.
We've got Hariyama there with Fake Out and Whirlwind. This was like a popular innovation to use to counter Imprison to allow Trick Room to get up. So previously, Roar and Whirlwind were used to counter Trick Room by phasing the opponent out on that turn, but using Whirlwind to counter Imprison to allow you to set Trick Room up, otherwise taking advantage of the fact that it is one priority stage immediately above Trick Room. It was a very interesting adaptation, and Fake Out's very good for getting consistency as well, because it prevents your opponents from clicking moves that do things. And then Pelipper, if it doesn't die, then it can switch itself out with U-turn as well, and often that's like a slow switch, which can be nice.
Right. Yeah, so you don't take the damage that you would get from a fast one and potentially lose that Pokemon right away. Slow pivots oftentimes feel a lot better.
For sure.
Just because then you get, a majority of your health still there.
And part of the reason that U-turn is nice relative to something like a hard switch is that it allows you to respond to has my opponent got their own ability to disrupt my field condition, for example Torkoal, or like a prankster Pokemon are sometimes there, then being able to pivot around and have that information of whether they're using that, whether they brought it to their set of 4, can really shape how you want to direct that bit of the game, and U-turn gives you a lot of information.
Right, yeah.
And Resist
and
Berries.
It helps break sashes.
Absolutely. Resist Berries also reduce your exposure to dying.
Stops you from getting caught by, in Pelipper's case especially, those 4 times super effective moves that normally would just send you to hell.
Pashu, Rindo, and Chople, the Tyranitar items. Oh, and Shuka. Again, not as much Roselli or how am I forgetting the names of all of the items? Tangerberry and Bavira Berry. Not as much on Tyranitar, but theoretically, if the matchup suits for it, yeah. And then I think you generally really want to index around Pokemon that are good at following up in these situations. I meant to be Guts on Hariyama, because the reason that Hariyama is good is because it develops that your board state while also supporting you in getting Trick Room up by getting Guts off.
Mm-hmm.
You want the Pokemon who's next to Chien-Pao to be able to take advantage of Chien-Pao being on the field an extra turn or two because of its Sash and its Protect. You want the Pokemon that's coming in the back from Chi-Yu to not only be able to take the hit that it's coming in on that was aimed at Chi-Yu, but then also be able to deal damage. You want both of you want your opponent to be scared that both Pokemon that you have on the field right now, if they are not Chi-Yu, that either of them can switch into Chi-Yu, and then the other Pokemon attacks and is boosted by Chi-Yu. And if you're not doing that, then you want to be using a Pokemon who is very strong at burst damage on the other side of the spectrum to deal with teams which are very especially defensive for Chi-Yu or physically defensive for Chien-Pao, like we saw with, for example, Rotom on Ray's team. And you did have a Pokemon on your team, but I cannot... Oh, Lucario, right?
Yeah.
On this version, and Iron Valiant on the other version, having that like Pokemon that is a very strong mixed attacker. A Landorus Eye, I think you also have.
Yeah, I also have the Landorus there.
That can switch up to being a physical attacker in some situations, or run like mixed sets. Can be very, very difficult to deal with. So that's generally how you kind of want to maintain this field conditions. Did you have other thoughts? Obviously, you're pretty experienced now on how to use Chi-Yu.
Well, experienced on how to use it is an overstatement. I got blown in the other first week, but specifically in these hard modes, I would say other than Trick Room, it's not as big of an issue with Trick Room, but like Chi-Yu, Chien-Pao, and then Sun.
Yeah, I suppose part of the difference with Trick Room is that hard to remove your field condition.
Yeah, you also have the added benefit, well, negative, the added con, that they also get the benefits.
Well, Chi-Yu and Chien-Pao don't lose their own defensive stats, which can be really relevant.
Yeah.
Like, Chien-Pao lives a surprising number of bullet punches. And Chi-Yu already has good special defense. But your partner Pokemon is
vulnerable in your partner slot, yeah.
And Pelipper is not a water resist, for example. Because it just gives your opponent's water types enough damage to break through it, and it's really bad special defense. Like, this was kind of like a thing in singles draft. You always wanted to draft Kingdra on rain teams, because if you were Pelipper, Mega Swampert, you didn't have a water resist in your team. Also, they share no weaknesses. But, yeah, like, it is a very real issue in Sun, in Rain, that your opponent will do more damage to you with the type that your weather is boosting. And I mean, that's the issues that Chien-Pao and Chi-Yu teams can face, is when they're running into faster or Trick Room special attackers or physical attackers, that they can break through their team using their own field condition. But that's where you get the advantage of the fact that you can switch Chien-Pao in at any time, and they can only force it in by KOing two of your Pokemon.
Right.
So you do have an advantage. I'd say even more so with you and Chien-Pao than with weather, because if you switch Tyranitar out, there's still sun up. There's still sand up.
Yeah, that weather that you are abusing is still going to be there, but the abilities.
But it was very different
the
with
aren't going to be there
because it had Primal Groudon and Kyogre and Mega Rayquaza, which worked like this, and like having the control over whether everyone was immune to water types or not, to water moves or not, was very, very strong. And Chi-Yu Chien-Pao not slightly less strong than that, but not even not exactly.
Right.
it's a bit like not exactly a sideways comparison, but yeah, I think very much in terms of the hard commits, you need to get really confident in deciding when you feel comfortable switching in and out Qianpao Qiyu. And I don't mean being the person on the ladder who sees Ndidi on the field and somehow every single time manages to predict which slot I'm clicking Psychic into and switches Qiyu into that slot. Like, it was a steel type. How did you know? Why do they always know?
You know. I don't know. Ndidi players are something else. They're sure something else.
Look, I just want to set my funny field condition, but everyone runs Ice Spinner. I played a team.
Yeah.
I played best 3 against someone. Game 1, they Ice Spinned me with Qianpao. Game 2, they Ice Spinned me with Dragonite. Game 3, they Ice Spinned me with Urshifu. I won the series, but like.
Not Ice Spinner or Shifu though.
I thought it was. Yeah, no, it was heartbreaking.
Jeez.
I won the series. That's the worst bit. They just do it to be mean.
Yeah, we didn't need to bring 3 Ice Spinners, but they did.
They did, and you made sure to use every single one of them in best of 3.
Every single one.
Yeah, they had a roll boom
okay.
as well.
They still lost anyway.
Because, not like roll boom. That's a separate issue. Yes, so this is how you build a team. Now, if you are worried about these teams and you are probably think, oh my gosh, what am I going to do if I run into Cannor's team? Have you considered conceding? That'll be $5, Cannor. Put that in my PayPal.
Alright.
Just forfeit. Another
just give me the win.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't.
Exactly.
If you don't think you can win, just give it to
me.
me.
And if you think you can win, you should definitely give it to him. So here are the funny ways of dealing with it. There are others as well, but there's a lot of different things to talk about. Pokemon's a very complex game. So Fake Out is really good. Dual screens. Like Light Screen blunts special offense pretty well, and Reflect blunts physical offense pretty well, because it like neutralizes Qianpao when it's in, and does a serious damage reduction when Qianpao switches out. Prankster Weather, very good. Also Cloud9 or your own weather are not bad.
Right, for sure.
And then Florges, and you can use other Pokemon in this sort of thing. Florges is a Pokemon with very high special defense, so it will generally live the double up of like 2 spread moves from a Chiyu team, and then you use the choice specs or other like strong boosting items, because this defensive Pokemon generally will not take, will generally not be able to get that KO back. But you can really find a lot of utility running Choice Band and Choice specs on defensive Pokemon in these matchup fish sort of matchups to get that KO back.
Right.
Because often that can really blunt your opponent's game plan, especially if they don't have the ability to mix it up in a way that breaks through Florges, especially like maybe you have a Terra that makes it particularly tricky or what have you. And then beyond that, Redirection and Sleep. These are very strong. Wisp against Sun.
Yeah.
Sorry, Wisp against physical Pokemon. But
yeah,
Sleep's
very physical good. Pokemon. Snarl the special attackers.
I used to use Jinx a lot back last gen when it was in the format, because I click Fake Out and Lovely Kiss, and it would beat a lot of different types of teams. It's it's strong. Beyond that, sometimes you just have to make better predictions than they do, and sometimes you just need to take advantage of their field conditions, like we've talked about them trying to stop you doing. Yeah, Rain
sometimes
is definitely
the best.
It's like just click a fire move
thing that you can do is sometimes the best thing you can do is just join the party. Just
redraft your team.
Really hard
like 5
special attacks.
For sure.
For sure. That too. Just pick up better Pokemon.
Look, you're talking big for. Wait, are you the one with Flutter Mane, or are you the one without Flutter Mane?
Yeah, I'm the Flutter Chiyu. Hopin's the one with Chiyu team without Flutter Mane.
Oh, I was confused. I have all the teams mixed together in my head. I'm glad I don't play either of you on season. I did beat last Chiyu team I played, and Genbao team I played, and Tinglu team I played. But I've never played Woqian in draft. And you know, I think there's something to take away from that.
Yeah. Yeah. Woqian, it's the bug types. So if you're being like me and drafting every one fighting type, you don't have to worry about Woqian.
I mean, this has come past my gameplay of this, but I am running an X as a Sableye as a Woqian check in another league. That's the
oh, Woqian.
That's I mean that shows how few checks to it I have.
Yeah.
I missed my previous season when I had Robska.
Oh yeah, that would just obliterate it.
Yeah. So everyone, I thank you for watching. I thank Cannor for finally being in a VBL video.
Yep. Other than my own, I'm fine. I'm finally in one.
So we've linked Cannor's channel down below. Please go subscribe. And leave a comment here and on Cannor's latest video as well. And consider ordering a pizza to Cannor's house without him knowing that it was you who ordered the pizza, and they would be very confused. They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, there's a pizza, but who ordered it? Who's going to pay for it?"
No. Just buy me pizza.
Exactly.
I'm not going to say no to a pizza.
I mean, we didn't pay
Unless
for it.
I
We
have to
just
pay
ordered
for
it.
it.
Yeah.
I guess I'll say no then.
I guess you never got like a prank pizza order before.
No, it's not a super big thing here.
All right. Well, I think it's just
Middle
a
of
super
North
big
Dakota.
thing like a decade ago.
Yeah, that's also true.
So everyone, thank you for watching. Have a lovely day, and goodbye.